Hi there, welcome back to my channel. This is Reika Does Blender. My name is Reika and today we are going to continue with the fairy scene. And last time we modeled the flower and today we are going to texture paint it. This is where we left off last time. And first of all, I'm just going to organize my scene a little bit. So first of all, I can see that this mushroom is a little bit too high up. So I'm going to press G and Z and just bring it down a little bit. And I'm going to select all of the mushroom parts. Press M to move to new collection. And I'm going to call this collection mushrooms. And here in the outline, you can see all of the items went into this folder, this new folder. Now I'm going to select all the trees, just box select them with the click of my mouse. Press M to move to new collection. And name this collection trees. Okay, the grassy platform, again, press M to move to new collection, call it grass. And then the flower, move to new collection, call it flower or flowers because there's going to be a couple after we texture painted it. Okay, great. Right, so let's choose an object. I'm going to start it with the stem because that's going to be the easiest to texture paint. So go to your UV editing workspace. I'm going to switch off X-ray mode. So this is our stem and we still have the emission after the mushrooms loaded up. So let's remove that. So this one, let's give it a new material first. So this is your shader editor. You can set it here. So let's add a new material. Don't worry about the color right now because we are going to texture paint it. And then here we need to unwrap it. So let's go to edit mode. Select all with A on your keyboard. Press U and click on Smart UV Project. The island margin, set it to 0.06 and click unwrap. Okay, great. Now let's create a new texture image. So I'm going to call this flower stem. I'm going to change this to 2048 and this one also 2048. You can just leave it on the 1024, that's fine. Untick the alpha and create new image. So this is the flower stem and here in the shader editor, I'm going to call this one flower stem. Press Shift A to add texture, image texture, put it here and load in the flower stem. So from this drop down menu, click on flower stem and you can plug it into your base color. Now go to texture paint and I'm going to press slash so it's all isolated. And as I said, I'm not really worried about this stem because this is going to be very visible, so it doesn't need a lot of detail. So I'm choosing a color from here. So I'm going to choose either from here or from here the fill brush, and I'm going to choose a dark green color. And then all I'll do is click on it and it turn green. And now we have an image that we need to save. So I'm going to click on save as image and that's it. And now slash on my keyboard again. I'm gonna go into render view and you can see it's colored our stem and it looks great. Let's go back to material preview mode and let's go back to object mode here. I'm going to choose the leaf, give it a new material called flower leaf, press enter. I'm going to click on X. So we will remove this image. And now with the flower leaf, I'm going to go back to edit mode. Make sure to select all. So press A, U, Smart UV Project and unwrap. And this is our leaf. Again, create a new image, call it flower leaf. And all the settings are the same. So click on new image. And here again, let's add Shift A, texture, image texture, and this time from the drop down choose the flower leaf, plug it into the base color, texture paint mode, and I am going to use the fill brush again, but this time I'm going to use a gradient. So from the stem I'm going to press Shift X to pick this color and you can see it should have appeared on your color palette. And when you click on it here, it's going to be the first part of your gradient. But I want this to be a little bit darker. So it's going to be like this. And then this one, if you click on it, so you can see at the moment it's white. And if you click on your color palette, then it's going to pick that color. So here you go. This is the color I want. Press / on your keyboard. And what I do is from the bottom to the top, I draw this line with my mouse or with your graphic tablet. And you can see it has a gradient color. So it's darker on the bottom and lighter on the top. Maybe I want the dark to be a little bit more, so I pull this slider a little bit closer to the right and draw a line once more, and that's much better. Okay, great. And now save the image, save as, or click on save image as to your folder where the rest of your pictures are. And now if you go into render view, you can see there's our stem colored. Right, go back to material preview mode, object mode, and I'm going to choose the middle of the flower. I will remove this UV map for the stem, so make sure you saved it. Create a new material for the flower middle. I don't actually know what it's called in English, so I'm just going to call it flower yellow. Go to edit mode, select all. U for Smart UV project, leave it on 0.06, the island margin, so it's not going to be too close to each other, and unwrap. So this is our new UV map. Click on new, flower, yellow. I will call it, leave the settings as they are, new image. And now again, Shift-A to add texture, image texture, and from the drop down, choose flower yellow, and you can plug it in. And then we go back to texture paint mode. And with this one, I'm gonna go back to color. So I want a yellowish color that is quite bright and a little bit maybe orangey, and add it to my color palette and just fill the middle of the flower. So you can see the UV map updated. You can also save it as well. But what I want to do is to add a texture to it. So I want it to be a little bit like the grassy platform. So click on the texture mask, click on add a new texture, and then you should be here in the tools menu, go down to the texture properties, and from here, click on that one. So this is the texture we just created. And what I want to do here is changing from image or movie to noise. So you can see the brush is going to be this texture. So go back to your tool properties. And this time I'm going to change the brush to a paint soft brush. I'm going to isolate my object, press F and make my brush nice and big and bring down the strength. And I'm going to change the color to a darker orange. So something like that. And now I'm going to click on this, the texture mask, and you can see this is the texture we just created. So now what I'm going to do is start painting on it. And you can see there is this weird texture here. So maybe I can add a little bit of green to it as well. And that looks a lot more like the flower yellow. Again, I don't know what it's called in English. So here we go. I mean, it's not that important to do this. You can just fill it with yellow, that's fine. It's a very small object, so it doesn't really matter. Now, I don't need this texture mask anymore, so I'm just going to click on X and remove it. Okay, great. So make sure you save the flower yellow. And now let's go back to object mode and choose the petals and remove the flower yellow and give it a new material, and I'm going to call it flower petals. Right, go to edit mode, select all with A, press U, Smart UV project, leave everything as it is, and unwrap. And this is your flower petals unwrapped. Create a new image, call it flower petals, leave the settings as they are, and here we go. Here, press Shift-A to add, texture, image texture, and from the drop down, load in the flower petals and you can plug it in. Okay, and then go to the texture paint tab. Okay, so for this one, first of all, I'm going to use my fill brush again, and I'm going to choose a very soft, very bright pink and just fill it up. And that's great. Oh, my texture mask is still there, so I'm going to remove that. Let's isolate my object. So this is just the petals, and that's great. Right, so for the petals, I'm going to use a gradient. So the darker one, I set it to a darker pink. And for the lighter one, I've set it to a lighter pink. So it's going to look awesome. With my gradient, right now, it's set to linear. So if you color it and draw a line, you can see that it sort of colored it, but it didn't color the petals individually. So what we want is set this one to ease, and instead of the linear fill mode, we want a radial fill mode. So now, if you look at it, it will set it like this. But this I find a little bit too much, so I'm going to do it like this. Make sure you do it from the middle, and that looks perfect. And now what I'm going to try is use my paintbrush, my paint hard brush. Choose this color with Shift X. Make sure you click on it, and you can draw some lines from the middle. They don't need to be hard lines, just very, very light ones that go outside, like a flower petal, like that. Okay, that looks great. So I'm just going to save my image, flower petals, and let's have a look. Let's go out of isolation mode, click on your render view, and there you go. There's our beautiful flower. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. And if you did, then make sure to click on subscribe and like. And next time we are going to model the butterfly. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.